Hey, what's up, guys? This is Malcolm. You are on Malcolm Talks. Thank you for visiting the channel. Hope you guys are having a great week and have had a great start to this new year. Now, today I want to talk to you guys about the future. You know, what's going to happen? What is to come for 2018? What can we expect? You know, I know a lot of you guys have made your New Year's resolutions. That's fine. You made your goals. You've written it out on paper. Probably have everything listed, everything's lined up. But I want to talk about the things that we don't see coming. You know, what are some things that we don't have any control over? What are some things that we can try to anticipate or to prepare for? You know, I hate to be like the gloom and doom guy, but, you know, have we ever thought about what might happen if the economy is not so great, you know, in this coming year? The whole cryptocurrency thing, like, what if that whole thing just collapses into thin air? You know, I know it's doing great now. We've had this tax policy redone. What if that doesn't go as expected or planned? A lot of people hate to hear this kind of thing. They're like, oh man, why are you being so negative? That's just a negative outlook. That's the problem. You got to be positive. And, you know, I've kind of changed my thoughts on that, because what I found is that when you can prepare for something before it happens, you're going to be that much better off. So what I'm challenging you guys to do right now is just to spend a small amount of time thinking about the what ifs. You know, what if the stock market doesn't do what people think it's going to do? What if there's inflation or something? You know, what if the interest rates are not as low as they've been for years and years? You know, to buy a house, interest rates, man, they're like 4, 5, 6%, and they've been that way for years. But I remember when my parents were coming up, when they bought their first house, I think the interest rates were like 12, 13, 14%. You know, so things do change. We're in a period right now where money is, theoretically, it's easy to get, from the standpoint it's cheap to buy. Like, it's cheap to buy the money. Basically, if you get loaned money, then they're going to loan it to you at a discount. I guess that's the best way to put it. So if you buy a house right now, they're going to give you a good interest rate. You know, they're trying to get people, the government, the Federal Reserve, and I'm not an expert on this, folks, but just based off my basic reading about it, the Federal Reserve, the government, they're like trying to spur on the economy by lowering interest rates and making things more appealing for us to spend the cash that we have. Because that's what it's all about, folks. Like, let's say you have $1,000 in your pocket right now, and then you have $1,000 available credit on a credit card. The $1,000 available credit, if you spend that money, you're going to have to spend interest on top of that. But if you spend the cash that you have, you're not going to spend interest, but that's still cash going out of the door. Basically, the liquidity, which is just cash that you have in your pocket, the liquidity of the American people, or the world for that matter, is, I think, what companies, what businesses, what people want to get their hands on. They want to get their hands on your cash. That's what they want. You know, so what are we going to do in the event that people just run out of cash? You know, with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and things like that. People are spending a lot of money on this stuff, man. And when you do the research about it, it's like, wait a minute, I'm using all my cash to go out and buy Bitcoin, but I have no idea what Bitcoin is going to do. And I know it's speculative, you know, it's an investment, but what if that whole thing just crashes? You know, I think Bitcoin was close to $20,000 per Bitcoin or something. You know, what if it crashes all the way down to $1,000 of Bitcoin? That would be a good time to get in and buy, I would presume. You know what I mean? Because, at some point, yes, there will be an elimination of cash. We know that much. Because cash is just paper. You can burn it. Doesn't matter what, but Bitcoin, it is, I think, a more futuristic currency that will eventually come to pass. But in order for Bitcoin to even become the, what we use as a monetary system, cash has got to crash. There has to be some type of bad thing that happens to our economy for us to switch over to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Let's not forget that part of it. It's not going to be some easy transition where everyone's going to be like, okay, now's the time to switch over to cryptocurrencies. Nah, cryptocurrencies are basically, when people invest in them, they're sort of like the hedge bet. It's sort of like, hey, just in case this economy goes to shit, I'm going to go ahead and give me some cryptos. Just in case. So, maybe this is just a part one video, but it's just to get you kind of thinking about what if. How are you preparing for the future? What are you doing to prepare for change? Or are you kind of looking at it like, what? Everything's always going to be great. Everything's hunky-dory. I'm never going to run into any challenges, any turmoil, any strife, anything outside of my control. Well, I'm challenging you to think about that for a second. Just spend a little bit of time thinking about what you're going to do. What if? How much cash do you have set aside? Do you have your emergency fund in place? Do you have things in order? Because at a certain point, with the volatility of what's going on right now, it seems like something's kind of ripe to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. Hopefully, it won't be anytime soon. But you almost have to expect that it's going to be soon so that you can start preparing for it now. So guys, this is Malcolm. You're on Malcolm Talks. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and just think about it, man. Just kind of spend some time, get out a pen and paper, just write down some ideas. What are you going to do in the event that the stock market crashes, housing market crashes, all these things happen? And because you don't want to be sitting there assed out. That's the last thing you want. Especially when you got kids and you got responsibilities and things like that. You want to be prepared. Be an adult about it. Be prepared. Don't look at this thing as if it's just negative thinking or being pessimistic or anything, because I understand there is a such thing as that. But in this case, it's not about being pessimistic. It's about not being blindly optimistic. We're adults. Well, most of us are. I know some of you guys might be kids, which means that you're on another level for even listening to this video. So I appreciate you guys too. But look, man, think about your future. Prepare. This is Malcolm Talks. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.